You're watching SchreckTeck, where tech is Shrekky. This show is sponsored by Synapse 3DI at www.synapse3di.com and by Relate Corporation at www.relate.com.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode number 6 of SchreckTeck. And here we are with our inimitable, our favorite, Gina. Hey, Gina, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Today we have magic rainbows and unicorns and Sam Silverstein. See, it all goes together. So I promised magical rainbows today and unicorns and, of course, the iPad 2. Just a quick little view there. But yeah, Rick, this is an exciting day because we have a fabulous guest on, Sam Silverstein, who is the author of a book that I think ties in so well to this show. And his book is called No More Excuses. So, yeah, welcome, Sam.
And
hey, Gina, it's great to be there. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Sam, how are you?
I'm great.
And I just bought your book. And it's funny, I bought your book a couple of days before I knew you were going to be on or confirmed. And at first I didn't quite relate to it. Wait a minute, Sam said, that's the same book. Hey! So a pleasure. The pleasure is mine.
Super.
Yes, it's very exciting. And, you know, we've been talking about the new iPad because Sam got his iPad on Friday. I got mine on Saturday. Rick's is, I think you're getting yours this week.
I hope, no, probably the week I get back.
The week you get back.
So 2 weeks. I'll get it in 2 weeks when the furor is over. But I did go to the Apple Store and play with it, and I almost stole one. Just ran off with it, but
no. we'd be filming, doing the show live from behind the bars.
Mind you, I love my regular iPad that I've had now for about a year, but the new one's gorgeous. And it is lighter, and I actually played with holding it like I do when I read all the time, and it was not cutting into my fingers, which is nice.
Yeah, you know, that's true. You can now hold it with one hand. You will build up some bicep muscles.
Yes.
Because it is still, you know, it's only, 30% lighter. So now it's 1 pound, 1.3 or something.
But it is thinner than an iPhone.
It is. About the width of a pencil.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So, yeah, very cool. But Sam, I want to dive in because your book, which I think we can see it maybe behind you, No More Excuses. You know, you're always working with business leaders, with executives, with organizations on how to incorporate accountability and do away with the excuses of, you know, all the problems that, I'm sure you hear the economy and everything else. But as it relates to learning new technology and staying abreast with everything new. I mean, we kind of laugh on this show because between Rick and I, we have every gadget known to mankind. And then we throw you in, Sam, who's also the gadget man. I think we could, fill every home with shiny objects. But, what are some of the things you talk about when you talk about no more excuses and using accountability?
Well, you know, Gina, I take the position that accountability can be our competitive advantage. It's not about standing up and saying it was my fault, it went wrong. Sure, we need to do that, but the goal is to not have it go wrong in the first place, to get it right. And if you're going to do that, we need to be proactively accountable. And I think it does apply to technology because I have 5 proactive accountabilities, and one of them is that we're accountable to manage our space. And that means that just because we've done something one way in the past and maybe it was successful, we need to be looking for new ways to do things. We need to be looking for a different way to do things. And we need to be taking some chances. Now, it needs to be mitigated with due diligence, and we need to do our research. But just because we've had this coat all these years and the coat is comfortable, or just because we've manufactured something a certain way, or we've even offered certain products or services, or we've spent our time in a certain manner, it doesn't mean that we should be complacent. We need to look for new ways to do things because that's how we grow, that's how we expand. And it's the same with technology. I know you've probably run into this so many times where someone says, well, I'm just really not into technology. I'm just not into the latest things. And I think that that's just a cop-out. It's an excuse.
Yes.
Because, when my father was growing up, a bathroom was in a wooden building outside of the house. He had to go out to the outhouse.
Mine's still like that, Sam. What do you mean?
Well, and he did have a what was called at the time a two-hole. So, so it was a modern fixture. But today you don't have to do that. Well, that's technology. You pick up a telephone and use a telephone. That's technology. Everyone uses technology. The question is where do you where's your comfort level, and where do you start using an excuse to get in the way of trying something new, something different, something that could ultimately either make you more effective in business or bring you more pleasure in life. And I think that technology has the ability to fill both of those holes if it's managed properly.
Both of those holes. That's just an image now that I need to erase. But, I love that because I hear all the time, I don't do technology, or in my business, we don't need to use technology or social media. So I do think that it is, in a way, an excuse because you may not use technology or do technology, which my response is usually, that's like saying you don't do electricity. Today we all do technology. It's like you said, at what level? And we need to look at, we may not do it, we may not want to use it, but our customers, our team members are probably waiting for us to, move ahead a little.
We're getting a lot of static on you right now, Gina.
Oh, are you? Okay, I don't have my phone nearby.
Electronic noise.
I have my laptop. Didn't we talk about that last week? I'm going to move my laptop away from my screen.
No, it's not your laptop.
No?
It's something else. Could be Skype.
Oh, it could be.
You think it's the
We don't
star?
think it's... Okay, I'll put it back.
Now you're clear.
Don't move.
Yeah, is
Don't-
it my
don't
iPad?
move, yes.
It's the magic. It's the magic interference.
Well, I'll tell you, getting back to what you were talking about, Gina, where you hear people say, I don't do technology or whatnot. It used to be, if you want to go 15 years ago, you might hear that comment and you'd kind of slough it off and that's fine. When I hear that comment today, I immediately form a negative image of that individual. I actually lose respect because I just think that's living in the dark ages. The truth of the matter is that it's 2011, and we need to be competitive in 2011, and we need to be up with what's going on, and we need to be relevant, and that's the thing. And we need to be relevant if we're in business. We need to be relevant if we're a parent talking to our child. And while I'm certainly not old enough to have grandchildren, but when I do, I want to be relevant to my grandchildren. I don't want to be seen as archaic or seen as a dinosaur. So to me, it's critically important that I stay up with what's going on. Now, I don't need to know everything about all technology, but I do need to be able to leverage some of those things in our world that are prevalent and that are on every corner of the street practically today. And so, to me, I enjoy technology, and I make it a point to spend time and resources to stay up with it to a degree. I think that's important.
Which is interesting because I think if we're in a leadership position, and there are a lot of folks who listen to the show in the learning community, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a trainer, we should be out in front. We should be leading the way, not having students who are looking to us. I mean, scary thing is, in most schools, the students know more about how to use today's technology tools than the teachers who are standing in the front of the room. And I think that's true with a lot of us in a leadership position. Our teams might be waiting for us to embrace these tools that they're already using. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that puts you in an upside down situation. I always wanted to sit at the footsteps of masters. And I still do. I love to go out with people who are respected in an area, and I want to maybe take someone to lunch and find out what led to their success and what are they working on. And to me, that's how you pick up not only knowledge but wisdom, which is really the ultimate. Anyone can read a book, but wisdom, that's something that takes time and talking to the right people. if I was taking an upper level class, if I was going back for a PhD, and I walked in and the professor didn't know more than me,
right?
Then I would go, I would lose respect for the situation. It would be very difficult. So, I want to be around people that know more than me. I want to be around the leading edge. If I'm going to school and there's tools that are involved in education, then the teachers need to be up on those tools. And you know what? It's part of their job to be up on those tools. It's part of their responsibility. And the time comes that they don't want to do that, then maybe it's time to find a different profession.
That's right. And it's interesting because I think part of it is the fear, and this is true with many of us, the fear of not being perceived as an expert. So if I jump in and start playing with this new technology, I'm not good at it, I don't understand it, and therefore I'm not seen as the expert that I should be. And part of it is we have to let that go and say all of us, collectively bring that expertise. But I think this is also where accountability can come into play, where I always tell people, it's safer to travel with a buddy, get a friend or a couple friends and say, hey, let's agree that we're going to learn one new technology tool this month. And then we meet and we share what we've learned, or we pick the same tool and we talk about how we're using it, what's our best apps that we found. Having accountability buddies, I think helps get rid of some of the fear and realize, oh, there's others who are in the same boat.
Well, I can only agree. If it's technology that you want to become more adept on, there's two types of people you want to hang out with. You want to hang out with someone that is more adept at technology so you can learn from them. And then your concept of an accountability buddy, maybe someone else that's in the same situation that needs to learn more about that particular area. And you just sort of have like maybe a friendly competition where you just try to one up each other in the area of technology. And you're not doing it in a malicious way, but the goal is to find a fun way to get involved with something that maybe you need more expertise. And so you start picking up things and start learning about different things, and you share that knowledge and information. And when you have someone that you sit down with, everything you learn is multiplied by 2 because they're sharing something that they've learned. And if you sit down with 3 or 4 or 5, then it's exponential in what you have to share. So what a great way to get a circle of people and get up to speed fast on something is to all do a little research. It's almost like a book club where you come in and you talk about a book, only you're talking about technology.
Tech clubs. There's the new thing. We need to start tech clubs. And Rick, you and I have talked about this, having reverse mentoring where, we have all of us have younger, we have younger kids than us.
I hope.
Let you figure that out.
We have teenagers or early 20s, kids in their 20s. I tell people you should really have a mentor in their early 20s. If not, somewhere in that range of 19 to 25, where they can really mentor you with some, how are they using these new tech tools? Why do they choose this text plan or this text app over email? That's a great question to ask young people today is, just how are they using the tools and what tools are they using and having them teach us. So, I don't know what you two, what are your thoughts on that? Reverse mentoring. Do either of you do that?
Well, that kind of comes into something that Sam said. He likes to go and hang around people that have done things and gain wisdom. Now, wisdom is something that's not very highly appreciated in our society. If you look at the internet, it's a great equalizer, but it's also the great, I'll make up a word, mediocritizer. Not everybody has great valid points. There's a lot of, frankly, not all that bright people out there. And as a result, how do you differentiate, or how do you even realize when you've got, let's say, a lot of young people who aren't really looking for anybody who've got, let's say, more experience or more wisdom, but rather are looking about who's got the highest score? That's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and wisdom is something that takes time. Knowledge and information you can acquire very quickly. Wisdom takes time. And so the wisdom is the wisdom to know that we need to be growing, the wisdom to look for ways to apply the tools sometimes that we already have. Getting back to what you were talking about, mentioning, Gina, my son and I are pretty close and really close. When we talk about technology,
you guys are close in age? Is that what you were going to say?
What?
You guys are real close in age. Is that what you were going to say?
Well, yeah. I would like to say we're close in age, but we're close in spirit, if you will. And I have 3 daughters, and we're also very close. And they drive technology also. So we're always comparing apps. If someone gets a new app for their iPhone, then there's a text message or an email, and we're recommending the app to everyone. We're always looking for new ways to use the toys and the technology that we have. So there is those conversations are going on, and I feel like I have the ability to learn from them because certainly they're closer to issues such as things like Facebook and Foursquare and things like that really came from that generation up, if you will. And so they know that I have an interest level. They know that I'm open for that discussion. And so I learn from them. And hopefully I share some things with them. And we always look to each other for the solutions to the problems that we will inevitably have because things don't always work, right?
Right. That is true. And it's interesting in the chat room, Lily, that is such an interesting thing that I'm fascinated by. The fact that these digital natives, these younger people, aren't really using a whole... I'm almost seeing that shift of resisting a lot of the new technology. I mean, my 20-year-old daughter, I'm always asking her, so what tech tools do you use on campus up at, in college? And she really doesn't. I mean, she doesn't use Foursquare. She doesn't check in on Facebook Places. She does live on Facebook. That's kind of still their tool that they're communicating with. But then a lot of it's text. So, we've been talking about different text apps that you can use without a text plan on your phone, like GroupMe or Beluga, some of those apps that you can use to text and send SMS texts without having to pay for a plan. And it is interesting. That's a really, maybe soon they're going to want to make wooden furniture and live with no electricity. So I don't know, maybe we're forcing them out of the world of technology because there's so much. So that's kind of an interesting observation.
Well, Gina, if you watch the news, we are heading there. So
yeah, I know.
Don't watch the news.
Yeah, that is scary. It's like, can we survive without electricity? Well, for 10 hours, I think we can. The iPad, 10-hour battery.
Right. And with a good backup battery, you can probably go another 5 to 10.
There you go. Sam carries everything. I mean, he's got like this bag with all these gadgets, and he can charge, 5 people, give them a full charge on their phone or their iPad. So
he's
got the gadgets.
Well, yeah, I carry a large briefcase, but I've got to have my tools with me, right?
Yep. This is not enough good stuff you can carry with you either. I carry my bag. My wife carries my bag. I mean, we've got all sorts of stuff that we carry. It's just fun.
That got me choked up.
You should see my wife and I at a hotel. She's at the desk. I'm at the table, and we've got our computers up, the phones up, everything's up, and it's just like, wow, don't we ever stop?
I know, it's sad.
and there's no boredom. We can do this for hours.
My perfect speaking job, if you will, is when I get to get up, put my suit on, grab my iPad, walk out the door, fly to the city, make my speech, and come home. I mean, I would love to just travel with this, but unfortunately, I do need some other tools along the way, and so that's why I have that big briefcase, and that's why it has wheels.
Now yesterday,
but my husband travels just with his iPad now. He doesn't bring his laptop, so I think it is looking at what are the things obviously, Sam, when we go and speak somewhere, we do need a little bit more than this, but for most people now in business, they can take this and they're good to go. This in their phone, and and now we can do meetings on here with the FaceTime and Skype, and it'll be interesting to see how these tablets really do infiltrate and change what we're carrying around. So, and there's a battle in my house over my daughters wanting my first iPad. And I told them they need to write an essay on why they feel they should get this. But let's talk about shiny objects, because there are a couple other gadgets I'd like to talk about. The first one, my iPad 1, the first iPad, it seems so big, but I got this cover. It's from a company called Uzi Bowl. And this cover is called the Ectopad. This thing is like major durable rubber, little cells all inside. But here's what's interesting. Now, hopefully I don't break something else in my office, but you can toss it and it bounces on the floor. So it's kind of like the OtterBox, but it's by Oozy-Bowl. So I bought that because I thought now when kids come over and want to play on games, they can play with that in the big Ectopad cover, and it's super durable. So it's great if you want to let kids play with your iPads. Indestructible cover. So that was a fun app. I mean, a fun gadget. Shiny object. But the best shiny object, obviously, is the iPad 2. Fun. And Sam, I'm curious because this is your first iPad, which they said 70% of sales of the iPad 2 went to first-time iPad buyers. What's so far, and you've only been playing with it for a few days, what is your favorite thing about it so far?
Well, I enjoy the feel to it. It's much softer in the hand than the original iPad, and so right away that's great. I've also found that the experience is so much more than what I expected, because now I can actually reach out and touch the internet, and it's a different experience than working on a laptop or working, in my office, and I really enjoy that. And I've set up some really fascinating apps on there, so that for instance, I'm using SplashTop, and I'm able to control my desktop computer right from my iPad, and I've really enjoyed that.
Oh, by the way, Go to My PC is now available for iPad.
Right.
Wow, so Go to My PC and SplashTop, is that what you said, Sam?
SplashTop, and there's another one called Log Me In.
Right.
SplashTop is a free download for your computer, and it's a $4.99 app. So for $5, you get an app on your iPad, and you can control your computer. And I've only found one thing that it can't do so far, and it's pretty minor. But I can open files, save files, print files, make PDFs. All my files are automatically backed up or put into my Dropbox, so then I have access to those files on my iPad, and that's a cool product. Log Me In is another great product that from any PC on the internet, you can control your PC and back in your office or at home. Their app for the iPad is $30. I don't know if it's more robust or not. Quite honestly, since I installed the $5 app, I figured I'd just forego the $30 app. But they do have a great online product as well.
And that is the warning I give new iPad owners.
iPad is huge.
Watch out for the app. You end up spending so much on apps because there's so many cool apps to have, and you go, $4 here, $1.99 here, $2 there. I said you end up easily spending $100 if you're not careful on just apps.
Well, yep, you need to have an app budget. I think going in, you need to realize you're going to buy some software. You wouldn't buy a computer and not buy software for it. But the beautiful thing about apps are the price points are so low. I mean,
right.
For 99 cents here, $1.99, $4.99, you can spend $15, $20 and pick up easily, but then you can have 5 or 6 great apps that are going to enhance your experience, make you more productive, and possibly bring you a little more fun. And that's always a good thing.
Yeah, and the app quality is actually really good on most of these.
Yeah, it is. I think it's great. And what's funny is I'm on an Android for my phone, and the one app that has not been available on Android that I've really wanted is Instagram. And so I had fun on the very first day downloading Instagram on the iPad, on the iPad 2. I never had it, well, obviously on the iPad 1 because there was no camera, and have had fun with the camera. I really like the feature of having a camera, which I didn't think. I was like, what are you going to do? Hold up a big giant thing and take a picture? But I have. And it's great because you can blog right from here, take a picture of something, add it to your blog. You can, obviously take pictures and load them on Facebook or Twitter. So that's been a lot of fun that I didn't anticipate. So I think as far as my shiny object, the camera on the new iPad has been a really fun feature. Even played with the video camera on it.
Actually, I have a theory that the new iPad is the new iPhone. So get used to carrying that.
Yeah, hold on. Let me take a call.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe soon we'll just be talking to these pads.
Then we'll see an increase in traumatic head injuries from that boink.
You know, if you're using Skype and you can Skype out and call anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
You can use your iPad for that. If you're on Wi-Fi, if you've got an internet signal, you're going to be for $30 a year, you can get unlimited calling to the U.S. and Canada.
Yeah.
There's your phone almost.
Actually,
And
30. Really, there's a plan right now. I'm on an international plan, $13 a month for 40 countries. If you do a lot of international work, it's really cheap.
Right.
I have a cousin that lives in Argentina, and I talked to her for almost 50 minutes. That would have been a $180 phone call.
Wow.
13 a month for any country, for unlimited countries, basically. Skype is great, and the quality of the calls are amazing. Except over there in Colorado every so often, but
yeah, except the calls. Yeah, except when we drop them here.
There is an upcharge to call Colorado.
Yep, that's an extra charge.
There is. We do have a special surcharge to get over the mountains. Yeah. Everyone's talking about app rehab in the chat room. That we're all going to soon be. This show will change names from SchreckTeck to App Rehab.
Appaholics.
It'll be a reality show based on us. Does it have Bluetooth? You know, I do not think it has a Bluetooth setting. I haven't really checked that out, but I will. People always ask me, should I get the 3G service? Sam and I both agreed we did not. Now, Sam carries his own mini router with him. I use my phone. It has free tethering from my Android phone. I can set up a little mini router, and it allows 5 people to log on to my network from my phone. So I do not need the 3G service on my iPad.
Who are you with, Gina?
T-Mobile.
Oh, that's why, because I know Verizon and AT&T are charging
they charge
20 or 30 a month just for the tethering, which is...
Now, I heard the new iPhone with Verizon did not. Is that not true?
Well, it doesn't support tethering either.
Well, the new iPhone with the Verizon can become a local Wi-Fi spot, not just tethering. And AT&T is releasing that on their version of the phone as well. The only problem is there is an upcharge for that. So you're paying the $20 or $25 a month for the upcharge. You're also paying, you're having a whatever your internet plan is. You have your download caps and things like that. So it can get kind of pricey that way.
Okay.
I think this is all going to shake out, but I still think having some sort of convergence and having one internet plan is the way to go. And the picture today, it may change in the next 3 or 4 months, but I love the idea of using your phone to either tether or be its own little base station for your other devices.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I just, that's my favorite thing. Take it out. And yesterday, my daughter and I were both working together, and she had her laptop, I had the iPad. I just set my phone on the table, turned that portable tethering on, and had our little hotspot. So, yeah, pretty cool. Very, very fun. And let's see. Yeah, Bluetooth. Okay, that's true. There is a Bluetooth keyboard for these, so I wonder if it does support phone. But we'll go on to talk about apps. Let's pull up some of these fun.
I'll tell you, there's one thing I've been looking for. I don't think it's available, Gina, but I would love to know if it is, and that is a remote control, so that if you're using your iPad for a keynote or PowerPoint presentation from the iPad, is there a way to advance to the next slide without actually being there and using your hand to do it?
I thought somebody did have a remote control, but I don't recall it. I think I saw a podcast on it once. It might have been Callie Lewis's Geek Beat, but I think she showed a remote for the iPad.
Well, wouldn't you be able to use your iPhone?
Well, using Bluetooth, it might be a pretty slick trick, but I have not heard. that it does that. So,
anyone in the chat room know? Yeah, I know I've seen people use their iPhone as a remote.
But that's to control their laptop. That's to control
and that's to control their laptop. So I'm assuming if they're controlling a Mac, there's probably something that does it on the. We will find out. That's a good question. That would be kind of cool. Well, you know what's interesting? Last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, with our hunting app we were showing, that had a remote piece, and your iPad was the remote for your iPhone, which then had the sounds come out of that, which is hiding in the bushes for hunters. And there's got to be something. Okay, that's going to be our homework. We're going to find out if we can use our iPad for presentations and change the slides.
Just did a quick search,
else.
And there are software remotes aside from the standard iPhone one that allow you to do Keynote. Don't have the names though, because it was just a whole list of things. But so there are some out there. Do a Google search and see what you come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of them are remotes from the iPad or the iPhone back to your MacBook.
And you know, speaking of remotes, one of the apps that I just have been playing with is the Xfinity. I have Comcast for cable, and Xfinity is the internet, or I guess they're just trying to rebrand all the cable pieces. But you download the app on the iPad, and then it's like a TV guide. So you're looking through your iPad for shows, you can read about it, and then you say, change the channel to that, and it controls your TV. Or you can from anywhere. So I can be out somewhere and go, oh, I forgot to set the DVR to record something, and I can I can just open up the Xfinity app, scroll to find the show, and say record that, and then it'll ask me on which TV, and I choose which one, and it sets the DVR. So that's a pretty cool, pretty slick, not quite sling box where you can watch TV from your iPad, but it can control, set up, or set up your DVR to record. So that's pretty cool. So I don't know about presentations, but I can make sure I watch my show. I don't know.
Yeah, and I was goofing off with a Netflix app the other night and streaming Netflix down to my iPad, and boy, was that amazing.
Yeah,
it's
just cool.
Just pop up, pick a movie, watch it. It was brilliant.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I'm heading to Mexico City in 2 weeks for a conference, and one of the apps that I've had for quite a while that I love is called Jibago. And what I love about this is it allows you, and you pick which language you want it. So I have English to Spanish. You can type or say something in English, and even if you say it, it will type it here. Then you can check to make sure that it got it right in English, and then it will translate it into Spanish in text. So if you wanted to type something, or I can then hit play, and it will play what I just typed up here or said. What's great about that, let's say you're in a taxi and you want to tell the cab driver something and he doesn't speak English. You can type it out in English and then it will say it in Spanish. And so that is a really fun app. And I think I paid $19 for this maybe 6 months ago or so on my other iPad. Now it's only $4.99, so it's on sale right now. I don't know if they're doing a lot of sales on apps because of the iPad too. But Jibago is a really cool language app that I'm going to use to help me craft an opening for my talk that I'm giving out there in Spanish. So I don't know. Have you guys ever played with or used any translation or language learning apps?
No, not yet.
Well, I have the Google Translate app, but I really haven't gotten into it. Have you compared that to the Jibago?
I haven't. I need to check that one out too. I have a couple other apps that are learn Spanish apps, and it's just basically has little flashcards and you say it and it records it and it plays it back, and so there's a lot of great language apps out there. And I thought this one was, again, there's no more excuses for traveling anywhere. You like that tie-in, Sam? There's no more excuses for not at least being able to have basic foreign language communication with all the great apps that are out there.
Well, by the way, that brings up a good point. Sam just came out with a new book. And can you tell us a little bit about your new book?
What does that have to do with language translation?
Nothing. But
because, Sam, sometimes when you talk, people might feel like they're listening in a foreign language.
No, and Gina just happened to mention the no more excuses, and you know what? We talked about it in the pre-show, but we haven't talked about it now. So let's introduce the book real quickly.
Well, No More Excuses is all about proactive accountability. It's how to make accountability your competitive advantage. It's how to go about changing your life and what you can achieve based on being accountable, and how to bring accountability into the organizational culture of the company that you work in. And so we work with organizations and help them create an organizational culture that's based in accountability. And not only the book, but our accountabilityacademy.com is where we provide a year-long experience on becoming more accountable and building that accountability zone that we need to all live in.
The crowd goes wild.
I'll tell you, you gotta love that.
I mean, all of us need that. I mean, I think in our lives, again, as leaders in our families, in our organizations, we need to take more accountability. Take that accountability and really step up. So
we really need to teach accountability too. It's so important.
Yeah.
On the job, everywhere in life. Without accountability, we kind of delude ourselves.
Right. Well, I think it's that time, isn't it, Rick?
It's that time.
It's that time for... I have to put on my Dear Shrek reading glasses.
Well,
oh, here we go. I always have to put on and look serious, like my little reading glasses.
those are different ones today.
Yes. Oh, I have many because I lose them so much. I buy the dollar glasses at Target. I don't know where I got these, but here's a great social dilemma that I had happen this week. And actually, after 8 emails from this woman, she actually found my blog, which I was very excited when she Googled a question about Facebook, found my blog and went back and forth with me 8 times trying to figure this out. And her social media dilemma: Dear Shrek, I want to set up a Facebook page for my business, but I do not have a Facebook personal profile, and nor do I want one. How can I set up a personal or profile for my business or page without letting people see me online on Facebook? And that's kind of how it started, which here's my short answer is don't do it that way. You can set up a Facebook page for your business without a personal profile, but it will limit some of the great features that are available to a business when you have a personal profile first. So my first question to her was, why do you not want a personal profile? And she said, I don't want to put stuff out there that's personal. I don't want people to see stuff about my kids. She had adopted 2 children and she didn't want their information being found. So really her question was different. Her concern, not wanting people to find anything about her personal life, she has total control over. I said, you can, number 1, set your privacy settings on your personal profile all the way as tight as they can be, so people can't look you up. But the bottom line is, people only see on Facebook what you put on there. So don't put anything about your children. Don't put anything about don't put your home address. Don't put your home phone number. You have control. It's not that just because you create a personal profile, suddenly the world knows everything about you, which, by the way, most people know more than that about you already just by Googling you, because that information is out there through credit card applications and different things that we sign up for online. So that information is already available. Just Google your name, and there's a website that I can't think of right now that you can go to, and it really frightening. It tells everything about where you live, how many kids you have, what your income is. Not always accurate, but it's out there. It's polling. It's aggregating info.
Yeah, so I told her,
go ahead and create a personal profile. Yes.
Gina, hold off a second. We're getting a lot of noise on you right now.
Oh, getting static again.
Yeah, it's just it's digital noise. It could be Skype. Not sure.
That's really odd.
And it comes and goes.
It comes and goes. Is it still there?
Still there.
I still think it's the scarf.
I think it's my magnetic personality.
Oh, there it goes. It's gone.
Now it's gone.
Now it's gone. Well, the key is our information is out there, and Facebook isn't automatically taking information about you and putting it out to the world. So, number 1, if you're wanting to create a business page on Facebook for your organization, set up, if you don't already have a personal profile, set one up, but just put minimal information. You don't have to load your picture. You don't have to put any information on there that you don't want people to find. Then you can lock those privacy settings down tight. But the reason you need a personal profile is you will get notifications with analytic data that is available when you have a business page and a personal page. Also, having a personal page allows you to go out and connect with perhaps someone you met at a business event, and you want to connect with them on Facebook to then tell them about your business page. You can't do that if you just have the business page. So there are really good reasons to have both. If you already have a personal page, there are people that are connected with you on your personal page cannot see, they're not automatic fans or on your business page, and your business page fans never see anything on your personal page. As a matter of fact, if you go to most pages, you can't tell who the admin is. So they're very separate, but you log in with one account. So it's kind of confusing. But my answer to this dilemma is, if you want to create a business page, you are not on Facebook at all, create a personal profile, just keep it minimal contact information so Facebook knows it's a real person creating the business page. You create the personal profile and then add a page and build that page out for your business. And if you have questions, if I've confused you even more, call Sam. There's no more excuses. He'll know what to tell you.
You just got volunteered.
Yeah, exactly. Call Rick.
Hold it. I got to answer the phone. Someone's calling me.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah, so that's my social dilemma. What thoughts do you guys have? Now, as far as Facebook pages, are you using a business page, Sam?
We use Facebook. I have a fan page, and then I have my personal page. And as a professional speaker and someone that's in the media a certain amount, I do get a little bit of a following there. So I am available on Facebook. I use LinkedIn more professionally. That's where I find that I can make the connections I need. And then we do have a lot of people that follow us on Twitter at Sam Silverstein. So that becomes a great way for us to communicate with a thought or a message. And so we use a combination of those three.
Which is interesting, because this weekend I met someone who said, our business doesn't do technology. He actually said, our business doesn't use social media because we don't feel that that's where our clients are. And I said, I think you'd be surprised where your clients are, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. They're online. You have to find the community where they are, but more and more, and really if we say, well, our customers aren't online, we might be saying our old customers, our current customers perhaps aren't online as much, but that doesn't, you might be missing a whole group of new customers that are looking for you. So I tell people, check again.
Yeah, I think, Gina, it's nothing more than an excuse. I've heard that also, and I think that that's just someone's way of saying, I really don't know anything about it, and so it's easy just to say my customers aren't there. And I think, like you said, they would be surprised what kind of business is out there.
I know. I mean, I can't, again, I'm in a technology field, so it's definitely my customers are online and they're looking online, but a lot of the customers that I'm working with aren't necessarily online. They know they should be, but they are hesitant to jump in there. So, I could say that same thing and say, oh, well, my customers aren't online, so I'm going to still send out postcards to try and market. Well, we do have to start broadening our view of who our customers are. So, yeah,
and
fun.
And with that, we're reaching the end of our show.
Yeah, let's see in the chat room, any questions, fun. Lots of chat. I see people rolling on the floor laughing. I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, definitely businesses using Facebook, not using Facebook. Yeah, people who think that they're, yeah, there's a lot of people saying, if people are saying they're not on Facebook or they're not using tech tools, they're wrong. Check again, because they are there. Facebook or other social media sites. Again, there's lots of them out there. Find your customers, ask them again. I think it's time for us to look at that again. And you know what? There's really, like we keep saying with Sam's book, there are no more excuses for us not to embrace some of these new tools. So check out Sam's book, No More Excuses. Sam, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your magic iPad with us.
It's been my pleasure to be here. What a great fun time. And hopefully everyone listening received a little bit of value from the banter back and forth.
And remember, you can buy No More Excuses on Amazon.com. I got my Kindle about 3 days ago, my Kindle edition of it. And good book.
Great.
Awesome. Have a great St. Patrick's Day this week. Don't forget to wear your green on Thursday.
And for all of you watching the show, thank you very much. Please subscribe. You can find us on Vimeo at vimeo.com/channels/SchreckTeck. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you much, Sam.
Have a great week.
Take care.